because this is going to be original.
Mr. Co. For nearly 2 decades, his team have been crafting unique weddings, parties, and corporate events that break the mold.
The knife of the cake was stuck on the fake cake, and I went behind the couple, so I took off the knife and I put his hand on top of it.
Specialising in event design, decor, and even bartending, Mr. Co. transforms ordinary spaces into unforgettable experiences.
To do the things that they like, not that the parents like, not that the friends like, not something someone else likes. If you want to do a traditional Glendy, knock yourself out, but do it original.
Join us as we explore his journey and creative vision.
Disrespectful when you're not answering a phone to someone, especially when he's calling you 3 times. And she was right. I have never done it again. That happened 25 years ago. And she's my best client.
Every single question you have about the wedding industry will be answered here. I'm Antonis Papadakis, and this is the Wed Podcast. Welcome. If you do like us, share some love and press the subscribe button. Let's start. Welcome, Marco. Very happy to have you here on the Wed Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Can you share your journey from your first wedding? Do you remember your first wedding?
I remember my first wedding. It was a fantastic wedding in Thessaloniki. 25, 26 years ago. And the thing was, I was working for a company that was doing weddings. It was not my wedding, but I was working for the company. And the thing was that I remember was that the knife of the cake was stuck on the fake cake. So the groom was trying to pull out the knife, and I went behind the couple. So I took off the knife and I put his hand on top of it, of the cake, so he can cut the cake. So that was something that I remember always.
Your journey started with
starts with something like that. And then we had a wonderful journey with a company that I used to work for. And I was 14 years with them, so it was like being in a very expensive college for 14 years, and I was learning and educating myself and in the business. And I was lucky enough with a company that I was working for to travel in the States and in the Middle East and in Europe to do events, and it was having all these experiences, and it was a wonderful thing to do. And then after 14 years, I started my own company in 2012.
In Athens?
Actually, 2011, but actually the company started in 2012 in Athens. Because I was born here, but I was raised in Thessaloniki, and I came here to do a wedding, and I never left. And since we have done Mr. Co, I've met wonderful colleagues and vendors and trusted people that were friends, and we traveled a lot. We met a lot of people that we still have, we meet and we meet again, and we have connections, and some others we don't. And now we're here in 2024, and we're very happy that we are here and we're talking about the past.
What was the thing that made you to stuck with a wedding planning, design? You could tell me.
It was neither planning, neither designing. Designing is the thing that I love the most, but actually it was when we started.
It was not design.
Was like we're planning a wedding. So planning the wedding that the clients were coming and the customers were coming and they were saying, what are you doing exactly? What is planning a wedding? And when we were explaining that we have to communicate with all these vendors and the caterer and people and to florists and photographers and everything, that they said, well, we can do that. So why shall we take you to do this? So they couldn't understand the service that you were providing to the client. So it was weird. And sometimes we were saying, what are we doing? We're saying something wrong, something that's not correct. It was new for the Greek standards. So after like 10 years passed by, and then we had like around 300 companies that they were event planners and event organizers. Then through the crisis in 2012, 2010, 2012, 2009, something like that, a lot of them vanished from the market. We stayed with the cockroaches and we're still here.
You did something good, maybe.
We were trying to be honest with the people that they were trusting us to do an event. And we were doing our best. Sometimes in the beginning, we didn't know exactly what we were doing. And then we have learned, we had experiences. Then we had wonderful collaborations with people that they teach us how we can provide better services. And that was good. That was great. This is the joy, I think, in our business, to meet new people and to meet other vendors that they do the same thing with you. You have the same problems, you have the same issues with all the vendors around the world.
Like this conversation.
Yeah, it's extremely, it's the same everywhere. If you do this podcast in India, or you do this podcast in the States, or in the Middle East, the planners will say more or less the same thing. Difference is the culture, and if they're used to this kind of service or not. But generally, this is the idea. This is what you were. Yeah.
So let's talk about the experience of everybody during the day. The couple, the guests, the vendors.
The vendors. I saw a small. If I allowed to say, a small TikTok video the other day, and it was someone that it was like a vase was here, and he said, "Are you serious? You're gonna destroy me. This is the correct position of the vase." This is what's going on the day of. Not really, but you're in the mood. Well, we try to do our best and be as positive as possible. Of course, some things may go wrong, but you are there to take care of them and,
do the problem
to
solving.
fix them. Yeah.
Okay.
To find the solution.
Is there a process you follow to promote more the experience of the guests? Let's say it's a tips, it's advice for the couple.
To do the things that they like, not that the parents like, not that the friends like, not something someone else likes. Because this is going to be original. If you want to do a traditional glendy, knock yourself out, but do it original. You're not going to do a traditional glendy and you have Chateaubriand. Do it with katsiki, with roast lamb, with traditional flavors, do a family-style table, do it all the way, and the theme of the wedding and everything like that. So it's not something that we recommend to do something so-and-so.
Not yours.
Not yours, yeah. And the experience of the guest for me is the most important thing, because this is what they will remember. They're not going to remember the food. They're not going to remember they're going to remember if the food is good. They're going to remember if they had fun and enjoy. Maybe the decoration sometimes, yes. Sometimes if it's going to be like that elaborate and that detailed, yes, that will be experience for them to see. And you have the wow factor going in a room, was like a tent, and suddenly you can see something completely different. But this is an experience. And this is what we like to do. But it's not only that. It's also the services, it's also the entertainment. If you're going to make them tired, and you're going to say, oh, you will go to the church, which is in Piraeus, and then you will go to the reception, which is in Sunio, and then for sure, this is a disaster.
And you have to tell
They're
them
not
that
going to remember anything else. They're going to remember that they did 3 hours to go to studio.
Okay, and about the high pressure of the day, how you handle your team's pressure and the anxious, let's say, from the couple?
I think I can handle the stress of the couple much easier than my team's stress. Because sometimes it's a stress that you say, why? Why is that? You have done this like a million times, but sometimes in the mood, it's someone having a bad day, so you have to take care of it.
But is there a actual process you follow for the experience of the couple? I mean, I want the actual steps. Maybe you have...
The actual steps is to enjoy the process as much as they will enjoy the day of their wedding. And by saying that is that we are there to give them the services and the offers and the quotes that they want for the wedding. So if they don't like something, they can ask for something else. And if we cannot find a common way to do it, which is unusual, that happens sometimes, but sometimes it's better for me to let you have someone else to guide you to the wedding day than having us to do that for you, because that will be much easier for you and it's going to be much more enjoyable, because from what I understand, we cannot find a way to give you the services that you want. It's better to leave and have your client satisfied with the process and the result if you cannot communicate with them.
Have you ever worked on a wedding with unusual or unexpected theme?
Unusual.
Something crazy, maybe, they ask about.
Define crazy. What?
Not
to do a wedding in the
one.
desert? Done. To do a wedding in a lake? Done. In a boat? Done.
Snow?
Snow? Done. Yes, it was a wonderful wedding.
Tell us.
Good for us good for me too that you remind me that. It was a wedding in Switzerland, and it was in a house, in the bride's house, the reception. And for the guests to go to the ceremony, to the church, because it was a Catholic ceremony, we took them with the, how do you call the
Snowmobile.
But it was with horses.
Ah, okay.
And we gave them the blankets and the boots and got them to the church. And then from the church, we had this thing with that they were hanging the boots with the initials so that they can find them on the way back to the house. That was really, it was fantastic. It was awesome.
How difficult was to plan this wedding?
The clients knew that it's the possibility of having snow, so we had this plan, so we had a plan B and not a plan A, so we did plan B.
I mean, maybe it's easier in Athens to plan something for you, like a team, than at abroad.
If we have something like a strike that we had today, which that happened, and we couldn't take the bride from the hotel in the center, from the Grand Bretagne, to take her to the cathedral of Athens, because everything was closed.
In total, you can.
We knew that, and we had a plan in case of. So we had a car, and we talked to the policeman to get this one car to leave, and all the other guests went to the cathedral by foot.
By foot.
Yeah.
Okay. In case you haven't done it already, please hit the subscribe button of our channel so that we keep growing. The more you help us grow, the more interesting professionals we will be able to host. So, subscribe today. What role plays the personalization
Yes.
in the planning?
Like how intimate you go with a couple. I'm trying not to get very intimate with them during the wedding, but after the wedding. No, I'm with them all the way. And they have to understand that they have a friend with them. So they have to feel comfortable of telling you everything that it's on their mind and bothers them. So this is the only way to do that and make it right for them and for you to have a great result. And to explain to them why is that and why is not.
So if I'm asking you, what is the wedding designer than the planner, than just the planner?
Well, the planner usually cooperates with a designer, or he's following the design feeling of the couple. But usually the planner is also a designer, but they don't know it, because they have to choose the furniture. They know in the same in what venue goes what. Like in the islands, they know exactly in which venue they can fit how many people and what kind of chairs are suitable for this venue. What we are doing is that usually the planners are taking the idea and the general picture from the couple. We are creating the idea for the couple. This is the difference, I think.
So if I want to do a traditional wedding, but in creative way, let's say.
You can do.
Have you ever met a wedding like this?
A traditional wedding, but in different. Yes, you can. You can do wonderful. This is our discussion also in GTPA. GTPA is a group of association that we have done. Probably you have heard that before, and we're very proud of it. And this is what we discussed to promote the Greek feeling, ideas, pictures, themes, and you can do wonderful graphics. We have wonderful designers that do graphic designs and illustrators that they can do wonderful things for the wedding and maps and quotes and fun stuff. And then, of course, you can create the experience in the image that if you go to an island and you will take the small boat, wooden boat, to go to the beach and have a day before the wedding experience for the guests and stay in the beach and have like the food in a taverna and you have wonderful things over there. This is like so simple and so Greek. Of course, you can do something more elaborate for the wedding day, but it can still be Greek style.
How important is the networking in our industry?
It's very important. It's very important because we can connect with each other and we can understand more of the problems and the issues that we're having. And united we stand, as our fellow Americans are saying. Because this is the only way to find issues if we join forces and we can communicate it with the leaderships in different categories and actions. And maybe we can find solutions that they will come, I don't know, in 10 years, in a year, in 15 years, in 50 years, I don't know. But I think that someone has to step in.
Is there a mistake you've learned during all these years? But was like when you understand that this was a mistake you're doing?
Years ago, when I was young, have heard, and a client was calling me and I was not answering the phone. She called me 3 times. I was not answering the phone because I had something with her, because I was doing something, then I forgot to call her, and she gave me a lesson. And she told me that it's disrespectful when you're not answering a phone to someone, especially when he's calling you 3 times. And she was right. I have never done it again. That happened 25 years ago. And she's my best client.
Okay.
And my beloved.
So she was a bride?
No. She wasn't.
Corporate?
No. was personal. It was like a dinner at the house. And this is what I had today for her.
Where do you see your business in the next 5 or 10 years?
In 5 years, I see a progress and opening other ways to communicate with the business industry. In 10 years, hopefully I'm not going to be in a situation that I'm going to have direct contact with the clients. In 15 years, hopefully I'm not going to do any of the above.
So in 15 years would be like 35 years. No, 40 years.
In 15 years, it's going to be 40 years in the business.
So the limit was after the 30 years for
the
you.
limit was 30 years. Then 30 years went to 20, then 25, and now we're going to do but I think that this is I don't think that you're never going to leave from this business if you love this kind of business. If you love design and you love to hang around with people and to know other ethnicities and cultures and why should you leave?
If you reach all these years, for sure you love it. That's why you stay.
You love it, but you're doing it with a way which is different. You were doing it 25 years ago, completely different than you're doing it now. Now you have a filter. Then in 15 years, you're going to have 15 more years, you're going to have 3 filters. Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask some more questions about the destination weddings outside of Greece.
Yeah, yes.
It's the most difficult thing in your job, you think?
No.
What's your most difficult thing?
The most difficult thing is to collaborate with local people that they don't have the experience of having this kind of serving this way. You're going to the islands and you can see the difficulties. When I mean islands, I don't mean like Santorini and Mykonos and I don't know, bigger islands and they're having services and big hotels and establishments. I mean in the islands that are close to Athens and they're so expensive that you cannot even move in the island. You're just going there. You need 55 euros to go from one place to the other with a taxi. And there are only 5 taxis in the island.
Rich people.
And you're coming and going with a sea taxi from the island to the mainland, and it's 60 euros for 10 minutes ride.
Okay.
This is difficult for us to explain it to the clients, to the guests, why it's so expensive.
You can understand it either.
No.
Okay.
I don't. The same is with the food. We're having offers that they are 150 euros per person, and we're having offers that it's 360 euros per person. And if you read the menu, more or less, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We have to understand the differentiation and to explain it to the client. And of course, if it's going to be reasonable, and he's going to understand it. If it's not, you cannot even explain it to the client.
If I tell you to change something in every vendor,
Mm-hmm.
what would it be like to photographer, to videographer, to florist?
Photographers and videographers. It's my
Best.
blue point. I don't have to say anything to the vendors. They have to be reasonable. They have to be expected when they are expected. To be on time, to serve well the client, and to have our minds in our heads, not out of it. And I'm going to stop here because it's a long discussion with the photographers and the videographers. Sorry, guys.
Now we're having the last guest question. Every guest leaves a question for the next one.
Okay.
So the last guest leaves a question for you. Is there something that you regret doing in your career or that you wish you have done differently?
Yeah, if I wanted to talk to my younger self, like 20 years ago, with a little experience in the business, I would have say, follow your instinct more than you follow your mind or your heart. Because if I was going to follow my instinct more, I would have done more. I would have done more.
In which way, you mean?
All the way. In every way. I would have done more.
So this keeps you back, you mean?
Yeah, it kept me back.
Get
Yeah.
back. Okay.
Because I was feeling that I owed to something, so I was not able to disconnect and go forward.
Thank you, Markos.
Thank you.
It was a very nice conversation.
Thank you for having me.
We hope you enjoyed this interview as much as we did. Subscribe and stay tuned for more.